Yeah, we at ACAF 221 South 52nd Street. Got my man Mier Malik, Southwest Philly. He's in the building. He slid through for another interview. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you, brother, for sliding through.
Thank you.
Always love when you come through. And I want to start off by asking you about your progression. I know last time you was trying to move and you was going through physical therapy. So how is that going now for you?
What's today's date? The 7th?
17th, November 17th.
Damn, I'm lost. All right, so about a week or so ago, it was 4 years of me being injured. November 6th, 2020. So the progression from when I first came there, I was in a manual wheelchair that had to be pushed by other people. Now I'm inside of a power wheelchair where I push myself. And as you see, my hands moving more. As you see, my legs moving more. As you see, I'm moving more.
Looking flexible.
Yeah, I'm looking way better. The point I'm bringing down to the people is my cervical levels is C2, C3, C4, C5. Plus, I had 2 TBI strokes on the right side of my brain, one major, one minor, which knocked out the left side, which means that I'm not supposed to be moving at all. I'm a C2 burst fracture, which is one of the highest cervical levels. The highest cervical level is a C1. And the C1, you're on life support for the rest of your life. So for me to have a C2 burst fracture, which means my vertebrae burst, I'm blessed to be moving like this. And I don't take nothing from it. I'm happy. This is what it is. I know what life support feel like. So yeah.
You know, it's a beautiful thing. It's a blessing. Like I said, you're the inspiration, you're the motivation, you know what I'm saying, for the culture, for the people, your wisdom and everything. I did want to ask you about abuse, because I know a lot of people go through abuse. So what's your take on that topic?
In this position, a lot of people in my position deal with abuse heavy. And I can honestly say I dealt with it on a level. I dealt with it on a level that a lot of people would never be able to understand it. This is my son right here, this is Jeremiah.
What's up, young king? How you?
I don't like to talk about this shit. But, like I said, the moment I'm able to release is the moment I'll be able to let go. I can talk about a lot of evil shit that I went through in my life in this position. Mental all the way down to physical abuse. You gotta remember, both my arms and both my legs didn't and don't work at the time. So all I could do was just sit there. And you imagine every fucking day, every single day from the morning to the time you go to sleep, you being cussed the fuck out. Cursed out. And mind you, I'm being cursed out so bad that I can't even say shit back because I'm coming off of 2 brain strokes. So I'm not witty, I'm not fast enough. You could say something to me and I'll be like, and I can't say nothing back. So all I do is just fucking cry. That's all I could do. You know, all the way to the point where I remember I was only at the hospital for probably like 7 months. If that, and I'm guessing. This woman kicked me out the fucking house. My son, I think he was about, how old was you? 5. He was 5 years old. It was fucking cold outside. I lived in a fucking apartment in Levittown. They had to carry me down the steps, put me in a wheelchair. They packed all my shit up, carried me down the steps, put me in a wheelchair. And this crooked ass lady who I was doing the home care with was in conjunction with my ex. So basically she told me I'm kicking the fuck out. And she called a car service to come pick me up and take me to a fucking motel. Not even a hotel. A motel. Mind you, I wasn't even at the hospital that long, so I'm still fucked up. Jeremiah, you remember that day? How long till after we got to the motel, what happened?
So like when like we were like 2 minutes in and then we were and then he just started peeing blood and screaming and I was like, what is happening? And then he had to call 911 and then he called 911 and the cops like said like he had to call a Uber driver that I didn't even know to come get me and I was crying and I said no, I don't want to go, and they said, and the cops was like, you gotta go, your dad has to go to the hospital and you can't go. And I was crying. He said, if you cry you make me cry, stop crying. And then the Uber driver had to take me to my grandma's house and my pop-up had to pick me up there.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing. So, Mier Malik, why did she kick you? Who kicked you out, and why did she kick you out?
Well, truth be told, I don't want to give her no fucking platform. But it was my ex, somebody I was with for years. That's not from Philadelphia. She kicked me out. I don't know her reason, like I told you. I was still mush brain. She'd probably tell people I threatened her, I hurt her, or what the fuck could I do? My voice wasn't even that strong. I'm not acting like I was no angel, but to a crying baby, what the fuck you do to a crying baby? You either put a pacifier in their mouth and you keep the ball rolling, right? But if you got an erratic person that's acting crazy, if that, what you do, you close the door and you go in another room, right? Mm-hmm. You don't throw that person out with their baby. I can't take care of myself. How the fuck am I gonna take care of my baby? You heard him sit there and say, he started crying, and you heard me tell him stop crying, or you gonna make me cry. That shit's serious, bro. It's something I don't never talk about. You understand what I'm saying? So when I tell people about things that I've been through, I don't talk. That's one thing. That's one thing. I ain't getting to the next part. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, when I had to get rushed to the hospital, I was pissing blood, straight blood. My catheter was going into my back, straight raw blood. I go to the hospital, I said I had kidney stones. So I had to be in the hospital for another week and a half. But I got way worse shit than that he witnessed. Can we have him tell y'all that?
You want to touch on that? You want to speak on
Look,
it?
grab the microphone. Remember how to take it off?
Yes. There's another thing that happened, and about like 2 o'clock in the morning, and then that lady, she kept arguing with my dad and stuff, and then it got to the point where she pushed him out the bed, and then she spit in his face, and he almost broke his neck, and he could have died. And the cops came, and he had to get rushed to the hospital again, and it was like, my grandpa had to come get me. It was like not good, and it wasn't good.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing again. And it sounded like she was an evil woman. He was dealing with there's a lot of evil people in this world, and she's one of them. So I'm glad that you had, knowing you got the strength, you overcame that. So I'm thankful for that. And I want to touch on some positive things that's going on right now. I know you.
Yeah, I want to get into the positive. I wanted to point that out to the people because a lot of people may look at my situation and think that everything was good and like, all right, I went through some fucked up stuff. And that's literally an atom. That is literally a small particle that nobody can see. I let my son tell y'all because I want y'all to hear that I ain't fucking making this up. And this is something that this little boy, he's 8, he's about to be 9 years old. he's never going to forget. He's never going to forget he watched his dad get pushed off the fucking bed onto my neck after he had rushed to the hospital, bro. And then she tried to tell me that I spazzed off the bed. It's 4 years later, I still never ever fucking spazzed off a bed. I can't spaz to the right. I'm paralyzed on the right side. I fell off the right side. I can fall to the left. I can fall to the left. I cannot fall to the right. So with that being said, abuse is abuse, bro. People need to really look into this shit. Pay attention. If your peoples is crying, if your peoples is angry, if your people are mad, don't tell them what their fucking problem is. Do what? Ask them. And they're going to tell you. And that's a major thing. We got to sometimes stop looking at situations like there's only women that get abused. People in this position get abused greatly. I just had a woman fucking take a lot of money from me. I'm putting her fucking name out there next. And these are people that play on you. Play on you, play on your heart, play on your condition, and play on you and fucking rob you. So abuse is abuse, and I need the people to really pay attention to everybody that you love and make sure that you love them. And the way that you love them is that you say something, you get into it, and you help them. Because guess what? All the fucking women in my family are suckers. They let her do that. That's why she did it. She's not even from Philly. How the fuck can you feel comfortable doing this to somebody if you know nothing is going to happen? I fought all my fake ass sisters. I fought my mother. I fought my grandmother. I fought all of them who allowed this woman to be a fucking demon. I would never allow nobody to do shit like that to mine. And y'all, everybody knew who I was when I was walking. I wasn't no demon. I wasn't no fucking sucker either. I would never, my dad was in the wheelchair. My dad is in the wheelchair. Been in the wheelchair for 33 years. I never let a nigga look at him crazy. Let alone we hear about somebody fucking abusing your loved one. So shout out to my sister, my bitch ass sister, Tiffany Howard. She knew about me getting abused. Her gay ass, and I'm gonna say that, her gay ass knew that I was getting abused. I always thought that she was in love with my fucking ex. I've been going through this for a long time. My sister knew about it, did nothing about it, but guess what she did do? I'm putting this on an interview. I want the world to know this. She went on a fucking excursion with her. She just went on a trip with her a couple months ago, out the country. The fuck that sound like? Tell me that don't sound weird. Let alone on the phone you got on a fucking airplane in another country with my abuser. This is what I mean by we have relatives, we don't have family. See this brother sitting in that chair? That's Rico the trainer. I met this brother on the fucking streets and he told me how much he loved me and appreciated my style and what I bring to the people, the inspiration, all that. He didn't even know that I had sepsis and I was on my way to the hospital to check myself in. He know now how depressed I was. But I went in the hospital and guess what? Every fucking day he was sitting there with me. It wasn't for clout. He didn't get on my Instagram. He didn't do nothing. That nigga made sure I was cool. And this is what I explain to people. Family is a word, right? So is relatives. But what was the joint that Kiss said? Family what? How it go?
Blood thicker than water, only in certain cases.
And that's how life go. Because at the end of the day, my alleged family were my fucking enemies. And they created this fucked up path for me for people to be able to do shit to me. I'm telling you, bro. Who the fuck would be able to do something to somebody in this position if you got real family? Do you know I'm the third oldest of 13 children? It's even worse, right?
Yeah, a big family. Well,
I have a
a lot of siblings.
Exactly, that's what I got. I had one fucking sister come to my house when I was living with my ex. This little motherfucker tried to fight me. Little bitch jumped up, tried to rush at me. What the fuck can I do back to you? Her husband had to hold her back. What the fuck was you gonna do to me? This is what I've been dealing with. I don't talk about it. But the world sees me. I got over 95 million views on TikTok. Not one fucking video with a fucking family member besides Jeremiah and my daughter. I don't tell y'all nothing, but I'm not mad. You wanna know why? Because I'm building this little boy right here to be one of the strongest mentally, physically, spiritually, kind-hearted, good men that's gonna grow. We don't listen to the fucking radio. We don't watch TV. We don't follow nobody on the internet. We don't do none of the shit they do. And I teach my son that. I teach him that shit ain't that. That's all a facade. All this Louis, Cartier, that's all a facade. Take all this shit off me, I'm still the same man. I'm gonna tell her, I told y'all this before I got on the camera. I say this shit to the world. This shit ain't real. This type of shit bothers me to the core because at the end of the day, in order to get a better force of recovery is peace. And it took a very long time for me to be able to breathe, bro. Can you imagine you crying every fucking night for almost a year straight after you got out the hospital? I was on life support for 7 months. I was on life support for 7 months. Got out the hospital, my ex was cursing me the fuck out while the machine was going off. And she was mad at me because of some shit that happened in California.